Hello, I'm Hal Lublin.
And I'm Mark Gagliardi.
Since the dawn of humanity, one issue has gone unsettled. With the fate of the world in the balance, we're here to settle, once and for all. Best City Song.
That's right. Don't worry, everyone. We got this.
Podcasts should have a theme song. Podcasts should not have a theme song. Yes, they should. No, they shouldn't. They sound good. Yeah, but people are just going to skip past it. You know what? You're right. We got this.
All right, here we go.
What is happening?
What is it? Best City Song?
What is
Wait, I want to know what the title of this is.
best city named song or best city song? Whatever you want to say.
Best Song with a City Name in the title, U.S. Edition. Best Song with a City Name in the title, U.S. Edition.
Best city song.
Do you see how when I was trying to just record the topic for this, we got into the weeds a little bit? I'm just throwing it out there.
How was that getting in the weeds?
I just think this is going to be a little bit more difficult than you think it's going to be, but I'm game to try.
Jump on and get started.
I'm coming out swinging. I'm hot.
Hold on. Hal, I'm excited about this topic. I took a nice long trip this afternoon across the United States of America, listening to some pretty fantastic music about this great nation of ours.
Just hopped in the family truckster, let the good times roll, got out your iPod
right.
Nano, plugged it in to the cassette adapter that went into
Exactly.
a Walkman that you had plugged into your radio.
Why I didn't just plug the little 1/8-inch jack right into the stereo, I don't know, but I did that extra step of the Walkman because I want to make sure all of my songs have a wonk,
The sound of the road
underneath them. Exactly.
That's how they figured out what bridge they were on in Sneakers. They'd isolate the sound of the seams.
How are you, my friends?
I'm doing great. I want to tee up the research on this one.
Okay.
You have furnished me.
Well, hold on a second. You're acting like
what
that's
you furnished me with. I'm not saying you haven't done more. Hold on.
Okay.
You have sent me simply a ranker.com article, a crowd ranked list of songs named after you.
Well, you said, I want to see a list.
And I looked at this list and
that list is garbage.
For the
crowd.
List is garbage. Just for the crowd, I have a couple notes.
Yeah.
Number 1, Folsom Prison Blues, not about a city.
No. Also, how old white man is this crowd that Lodi is the number 2 song of all of the city songs on this list?
Here's the best part.
What's that?
Coming in at number 4, coming in hot.
Mm-hmm.
This is the full title as given on the website. Forrest Gump, San Francisco, and then in parens, be sure to wear some flowers in your hair.
Did it say the word colon or was there an actual 2 dots?
No, there's an actual
Forrest Gump colon.
Actual colon.
Oh, okay.
This is a song by Scott McKenzie, by the way. It is not by Forrest Gump. I get that it was in the movie to denote as it's a great song for it. That is a banger of a soundtrack. I had the double CD set.
Well, of course, it's amazing. The Alan Silvestri at the end, the feather song, as I call it. There's the score is great, but the soundtrack that he puts together. It's a brilliant soundtrack.
It's fantastic.
Fortunate Son is on there. You've got some Bob Dylan. You've got some, it's all of the great songs of that era, or many of the great songs of that era.
Did that movie get away with doing a sequence in Vietnam that didn't have the song For What It's Worth in it? Because it feels like that is the song.
I think it had that song in it.
The official song of the Vietnam War.
Yeah, I think that song was in there.
Which, for those of you who don't know, is the wait, listen, what's that sound? Everybody hear what's going? That means we're in the midst of the Vietnam War. That's how you say that in movie.
There's a line in that where it's 1,000 people in the streets, but the music, the vocal cuts out for like half a second in the recorded version, and it goes 1,000 people in the street. So like you can't hear the P syllable in the word people. I went and I saw Stephen Stills and Neil Young do this song live. And when they did the song live, I guess because of the recording, he doesn't do the P syllable. He just goes 1,000 people in the street. And I was like, wait, does he just sing it like that?
It sounds like it.
I guess. Yeah. Or the recording came out and he was like, oh, that sounds good. Like if Procol Harum, when they perform now, they just do it manually, the whole
How often have you gone to a concert and had the artist come out and go, okay, here are a collection of songs that sound exactly like they do on the album? I think the only one who sounds like exactly like his album work is Billy Joel. When I've seen him live,
yeah,
it's pretty close.
Billy Joel puts on a tight show and runs a tight ship.
He's got to be out of there.
Yeah,
he's got dinner reservations.
He's got something going. He's like, hey guys, I work 2 hours and 15 minutes a day. Okay. I clock in. I literally put a time clock backstage. I clock in. I clock out. Yeah. I'm in a New York state of mind. Specifically, the New York state of mind I'm in right now is a steak from Patsy's. That's what the state of mind that I'm in right now.
Yeah. All the stars went to Patsy's for steaks after the show.
Dude, did you ever? Patsy's has one of the great New York dishes that was invented by Frank Sinatra. We'll get to the music in a minute, who does pop up on this list.
Sure.
At least once. There is a dish there called Lobster Sinatra. We may have talked about this on the show before.
No.
Sinatra just came up with this dish in the restaurant. He told them what to do and they did it for him. And it's an Italian restaurant. It's like it's steakhouse, but it's Italian food. It's all kinds of stuff.
Sure, of course.
And Sinatra sits down and they're like, Mr. Sinatra, we'd like to do. He's like, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take a lobster. I want you to cut it in half, split the whole thing open, pour marinara on the whole thing, a little bit of Parmesan cheese on top. Bring that out to me. And they still have it on there as Lobster Sinatra. That is the most like indulgent old New York mafia guy. Hey, what's fancy? What do people like? Lobster? All right, give me one of those. Pour some marinara and cheese on it.
Marinara.
Yeah, marinara. You don't see the last letter.
I want you to bring a chicken breast. I want you to butterfly it. I want you to put chocolate sauce in there, top it with whipped cream. Boom, chicken Sinatra.
Hey, here's what I like you to do.
I love that chicken Sinatra.
Well, you get a piece of bread, put it on the bottom of a plate, right? Not the top of a plate, which would be the bottom piece of bread. Yeah. Then I want you to take some marinara, pour it directly on the bread. Okay? A little peanut butter, a little jelly, some more marinara on top of that. Okay?
So you want a peanut butter jelly sandwich with marinara instead of bread?
No. It's going to have bread also. It's going to have just marinara. Then I want some Dunkin' bread, and some Dunkin' marinara on the side.
Okay, no problem.
PBJS.
Hey, Scooby-Doo, here's what I need. I want you to bring me a Diet Coke.
Okay, yes, Mr. Sinatra.
I want you to split the glass in half. Marinara in the middle. And I want you to tie it back together with a shoelace and bring that to me. But for a straw, I want you to hollow out a cookie.
Yeah, you got it, Mr. S.
Sinatra tonight. Yeah. Scooby-Dooby, I'm making bills.
While we are in New York City, let's talk about some of the great East Coast songs. Mm-hmm. I've got a few in mind. I know that you've got some Philadelphia songs that are coming to the top of your list. Mm-hmm. One of them won an Oscar, a great Philadelphia song. And that would, of course, be Bruce Springsteen's Streets of Philadelphia. You also got Elton John's Philadelphia Freedom.
Yes.
New York State of Mind. New York, New York, the classic, which you had a hot take this afternoon via text for that particular song, Hal.
For which? For
New York, New York.
Oh, that it's garbage?
What is wrong with that song? That song is a classic. It's the song everyone sings in Times Square after Old Lang Syne.
I was being a cheeky Philadelphia sports fan. No, it is a fine song. It's fun that it's the song that's played when the Yankees win. Mm-hmm. I think it's when they win, it's him, and it's Sinatra. When they lose, it's Liza Minnelli, but they always play it.
That seems like an insult to Liza Minnelli.
But I would offer to you, that it's not the best New York song.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you think is the best New York song?
I'm thinking about a song that came out in 1987.
Mm-hmm. Is it Why Should I Worry from Oliver and Company?
No, that was 88.
Oh, sorry. My bad. This
is on an album called A Very Special Christmas.
Oh, I was going to ask you if Hollis counts as a city.
Well, it's about Queens, which is
Christmas time in Hollis, Queens.
But does it not count? Because he says Christmas in Hollis. It's on Hollis Avenue.
Yeah.
It's in Queens.
Look,
It's a
I've
neighborhood of
also
New
got
York.
on my list No Sleep Till Brooklyn. So these are parts
That's a
of
great one.
New York City.
Dude, No
Angel
Sleep
of
Till Brooklyn-
Harlem is another one. New
No
York,
Sleep Till
there's-
Brooklyn is fun, and it's from that era of the Beastie
Yeah.
Boys where they were making fun of Party Boys.
Mhm.
Like, I don't think a lot of people get that they were making fun of Party Boys, and then they became Party Boys, and then they
Right.
got back to who they were. I mean, there's a brilliant group of dudes right there.
yeah.
But if we're going to allow Christmas in Hollis, do we also allow Billy Joel's Big Man on Mulberry Street, which is another one about
Well,
New
Hollis
York.
is, we did,
Hollis is a neighborhood.
we did specify that we wanted to have the city. I think a neighborhood counts as part of
Neighborhood
the
counts.
city.
Okay.
I think a street might be the cutoff point. We might be cutting it too close with a street. I love that choice. That one popped into my head this afternoon, and I thought, I wonder if we'll have to talk about it. I wonder if Hollis will count as a city.
Yeah, I mean, it does to me. That's my favorite New York song.
Mm-hmm. I don't know though if it's going to beat as an East Coast song. Cause I did go through and listen to a ton of these this afternoon, and Streets of Philadelphia is such a good song.
It is a very
Now-
good song. It's not really about Philadelphia.
That
as much as
was-
it captures.
yeah.
I mean, if you want the song Philadelphia Freedom, also not really about Philadelphia.
Right.
If you want a Philadelphia song with Philadelphia in the title, that is more about Philadelphia. Motown Philly is probably the way you want to go.
Yeah. Motown. I mean, that's the thing. Do we want to pick a song that is specifically, cause we said city songs and they will have the city in the title. Do we want them to be specifically about the city?
I think that's
You know what I
part
mean?
of it, is they have to capture the city in some way. Like New York is a quintessential
Yeah.
kind of, but to me, I would do the New York, it's a hell of a town.
The Bronx is up and the battery's down.
Like that at least tells
Yeah.
you a little bit about the city. New York is more, I'm not there and I want to be there. I wish I was in
Mhm.
New York. And if you want a better, I wish I was in New York song that actually references the city a little bit better,
State of mind.
you do New York State of Nine. That's way better
Yeah.
for that.
I
But
guess
also-
New York, just, it's so easy to sing. You know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
that's why it's so ubiquitous is it's da 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 da.
Mhm.
Da, 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 da. It's really, really easy. It builds well. It's
Yeah.
like structurally, it is a delightfully simple song. But I think you're right. I don't think it necessarily captures a city. And as great as Streets of Philadelphia is, I think that is more about the movie than it is about the city of Philadelphia. I think Motown Philly is a perfect choice. What do you think? There is one song from the East Coast that I think exemplifies the city of its title, but there are no lyrics in the song. Do you know what I'm talking about?
This is, give me it again. This is a song.
This is a song with a city in the Northeast's name in its title.
Okay.
And it is it is so associated with this city, but the song has no lyrics. They never mention the city because there's no lyric in the song. You know what I'm talking about?
The Bayonne, New Jersey Blues.
I'm talking, of course, about Dropkick Murphys shipping up to Boston. There are
lyrics to that.
No, it's just an instrumental. It's the one from
Sure?
Departed. Yeah.
Pretty sure there are. Hold on.
No.
I'm pretty sure.
Ken, I want to point out that the first hold on of this episode was not
No,
me.
I'm telling you to hold on. I'm a sailor peg and I lost my leg. Climbing up the topsails, I lost my leg. I'm shipping up to Boston. Whoa. I'm shipping up to Boston. Whoa. I'm shipping up to Boston. Whoa. I'm shipping off to find my wooden leg. That does have lyrics.
I
and I would
how have
say-
I never heard the lyrics of that song? I've only heard.
I would say that's not even the most Boston song. I would take Dirty Water over that.
Yeah, Dirty Water doesn't have the name of the city in the title.
No, but it is a more Boston song.
Sure.
If there's a song that's more your city than something with the city's name in the title, I think that might be a disqualifier. There are songs
Yeah.
that may capture it, but I associate Dirty Water because that's more like a Red Sox game. And it also has
Yeah.
that feeling of like the Dropkick Murphys,
Mhm.
who are very talented,
Sure.
and they are from Quincy. They are Massachusetts born.
Massholes through and through.
They feel like they could be from Ireland instead. That song makes it sound
that's true.
Like they're almost like if the chieftains got mad.
Yeah. If the chieftains plugged in.
There's something about Dirty Water by I think the Standells.
I don't know. I didn't even know there were lyrics in Shipping Up to Boston.
It's the Standells. The Standells did that. That just feels like it captures something. And again, that's a group of people who are from LA.
I mean, come on.
Garage rock band from LA.
Well, and then also that, you know what, you make a good point. Are we going to wind up with the best song with the city name and its title being performed by artists from that city? That's not necessarily a disqualifier, I don't think, but I think it's a good thing to bear in mind. It could be a good tiebreaker.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that coming out of the East Coast, I think I got to stick with Motown Philly. I think you were right.
I mean, it's pretty great. It's a pretty
great song.
And it does
Christmas in Hollis. I think it edges out Christmas in Hollis because it is specifically about Philly, the whole city. Philly's in the title. It gives it a nickname.
It captures a part of the Philly experience of who these guys are and where they are from. And it does mention some things that are Philly. That's sort of like the hometown pop, which is chilling on South Street. And then, of course, they mention all the Philly steaks you can eat. But it is about the rise of these guys who were just sort of singing together.
Sure. Back in school, they used to dream about this every day. Could this really happen, or will dreams just fade away?
Right. In addition to being a great song, there is a lot of Philly in it, and it is a proud anthem of the city. Not that we don't love Streets of Philadelphia. We love that there are songs about us, but they're both one is by a guy who's in the New York half of New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
In Bruce Springsteen, and the other is Elton John, who's from another continent.
Poor New Jersey, having each half from a different state. Oh yeah, are you on the New York half or the Pennsylvania half of New Jersey?
Well, those are thirds. Then the middle is farmland.
Oh, there you go. All right, so it's Motown Philly coming out of the East Coast.
Yes. There is another great one that our producer Ken Bloom has reminded us of. Another great one by Billy Joel, who loves songs about geography, which is Allentown. About
that one, you know what? I will let that one move us into another category because I actually have Allentown on a list as part of the Midwest. I don't know where Pennsylvania stops being the East Coast and starts being the Midwest. You know what I mean? Like Erie is not an East Coast city. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Erie's
Pittsburgh's not an East Coast city.
Practically Ohio. That's why.
Exactly.
Allentown is 40 minutes outside of Philadelphia.
Oh, it is. I thought Allentown was further. I thought Allentown was way further east or west than that.
North and to the east.
Oh, okay. Well, then Allentown. Look, I'm talking out my ass this whole episode so far, which I tend to do a lot, but that's okay. Yeah, Allentown is another great. Billy Joel shows up a lot. He has a lot of geography songs.
Yes. I mean, if you want another good Philly song, there's the Bristol Stomp. I
thought that was about Bristol.
That England. I thought that was about Bristol. I thought that was about Bristol, Philadelphia. Or Bristol,
could be about Bristol, Tennessee.
There are a lot of Bristols.
Yeah.
All we know is those kids in Bristol are sharp as a pistol when they do the Bristol Stomp.
All right. Let's go to the Midwest. Since I was wrong about Allentown, we'll find out what I can beat.
The DeVells, by the way, who are credited with the Bristol Stomp, formed at Overbrook High School in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 1957.
Oh, so it is about
a very famous athlete, also graduated from Overbrook High School.
Yes.
Close to the same time.
In the 1950s?
One of the greatest basketball players of all time.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain.
That is correct. Graduate of Overbrook High School, Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain.
And his 50,000 wins?
No comment. Let's move on.
All right, let's go to the Midwest. There are a few great Midwest songs. Allentown's not one of them because it's on the east side of Pennsylvania, but there are multiple songs about the city of Kansas City called simply Kansas City. There's the Beatles. There's Fats Domino. There's one even in a musical. I think it's in Oklahoma. Everything's up to date in Kansas City. We've got Cleveland Rocks, the theme song from the Drew Carey Show, Detroit Rock City by Kiss, and then a trio of Chicago songs, Sweet Home Chicago, My Kind of Town Chicago, and Chicago, That Toddlin' Town. Two of those sung by Frank Sinatra of lobster fame.
The Lobster King himself.
The Lobster King. Yeah. Johnny Lobster Splits.
I do love Chicago's My Kind of Town. I love Cleveland Rocks by the Presidents of the United States of America.
It's a really fun song. Yeah.
Who are best known for what song?
Gump. No. Lump. Gump was the Weird Al version.
And Peaches.
Millions of peaches. Yeah.
She's love. She's in my head.
Detroit Rock City benefits not from being by Kiss, who are also from a completely different continent.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a great song.
Yes. Yes, it is. Oh, man. There are a lot of good ones. Chicago's My Kind of Town is a song that I love.
Yeah.
Now, if we're talking about the Midwest, would we include Kansas?
Kansas City.
But not the state of Kansas, which is squarely in the middle of the entire country.
Is there a city other than Kansas City that has a song about it? Is there a awesome Topeka song?
No, there's a song.
Are you about to pitch the band Kansas?
No, I'm about to start by saying I'm a lineman for the county and I drive the main road searching in the sun for another overload. The Wichita Lineman by the great Glenn Campbell of the Wrecking Crew. That is a fantastic song. It is about a city.
Let me ask you this, though. Is it, in fact, about a city? Because another one of these comes up later, an Arlo Guthrie song, and I was wondering about it. It's actually the city of New Orleans. But it is about a train called the City of New Orleans, not about the city itself. Is Wichita referring to the Wichita line, like the train?
No.
Or is it referring to the city of Wichita?
He works in the electrical lines. He works on the wires.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it was
he goes up on the utility pole.
Oh, gotcha.
That is the line he's talking about. He's a county lineman. He's a lineman for the county.
That's
and the Wichita lineman still.
I don't know that song.
Come on.
There's the only Glenn Campbell. I think it's Glenn Campbell is Galveston on here. That's Glenn Campbell as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
That'll come up later. But does that beat any of these Chicago songs though?
Oh man.
Sweet Home Chicago is perfect to me.
Sing a little bit of it for me.
Come on, baby, don't you want to go back to that same old place? Sweet Home Chicago. In fact, that song is so ubiquitous in that city. We used it in my college showcase as our closing song and now gets used every year or many years as the closing song for DePaul's showcase, as if to say, we are here. We are Chicago. We are proud of that. And it's also another one of those ones in the same way that New York, New York is really easy to sing. Sweet Home Chicago is super duper easy to get drunk and sing in a bar.
I do love Cleveland Rocks. I really do.
You're going to go with a TV theme song over the official song of the city of Chicago?
I think it
is a very good song. I don't know. I don't remember how the verses go outside of just Cleveland rocks, and then ending with Ohio, which is all songs should end with that. We are the champions. We are the champions. Ohio. So dumb.
Yeah, I would go. Sweet Home Chicago is fine with me.
Yeah,
I'm okay with it.
You say that knowing full well that that's probably not going to be our ultimate winner.
It probably won't be.
Yeah,
I don't think.
But I think coming out of the Midwest, it's worth mentioning. All right, where do you want to go next? You want to go to the South or you want to go to the West?
Let's go to the South.
All right. We're going to go to the South. Let's go back to Glenn Campbell country and talk about Galveston. Mm-hmm. We've also got Johnny and June Cash singing Jackson. We have one from my home state of Tennessee. That is, of course, the Monkees' Last Train to Clarksville.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Dr. John's Down in New Orleans, the opening song from Princess and the Frog. We, of course, have Mark Cohn's Walking in Memphis. You've got Chuck Berry wrote, I think, and the Beatles performed, and a bunch of people performed. I don't remember who wrote it. Memphis, Tennessee. You know, the long distance information, give me Memphis, Tennessee. We've got Big D, Dallas, Big D, little A-double-L-A-S. Of course, Will Smith's Miami, repping Florida.
Yeah.
And
guys from Philadelphia, but sure, rep Florida.
Yeah, he's repping Florida, partying in the city where the heat is on.
We should have known back then there was a problem.
And then, of course, the Chattanooga Choo Choo, also from my home state. There's one on here that is an absolute, just complete indulgence song that if it is on, I will sing it at the top of my lungs. I might add it to my karaoke repertoire. Well, I was walking in Memphis, walking with my feet 10 feet off a bill. Walking in Memphis.
I mean, it does sort of take you through.
It's a walking tour.
It is a walking tour of Memphis.
Walk with your feet 10 feet off a Beale. Watch out for the taxis and the buses coming down Beale Street. Now you're going to want to take a left here. There's a nice little barbecue joint.
It's a song about Memphis, but from a guy who's just walking up and down Beale Street.
Yeah. Well, he's not even on Beale Street. He's 10 feet off of Beale.
Yeah, he's 10 feet. Well, I mean, he's generally on the street.
Yeah.
Like if you're in the 10th floor of a building that's on Beale Street, you're on Beale Street. You're just up.
I guess that's true.
As well.
Wait, did you think he was 10 feet off of Beale vertically? I assumed he was like 10 feet left or right of Beale Street. I never thought about the fact he could be on a hoverboard.
I assume he's achieved a plane of consciousness that most of us can only dream of. That
a third eye is 10 feet off of Beale.
I'm at peace with my future. I see everything in history happening all at once.
I contain multitudes.
I do I have a special spot in my heart for Jackson because it is the song that at my wedding that my wife and I were introduced to. That's what we were introduced for the first time as husband and wife. We came out to Jackson.
That's pretty great. Well, I mean, because you are married to Carter Parton Rogers.
Correct.
Somebody who knows
her very closely.
Somebody who knows Carter Parton Rogers very closely. The great country singer, Carter Parton Rogers.
That's right. Country superstar.
I'm going to Jackson. Yeah, that's another, there's a lot of good Southern ones.
But again, that's more about the two people than it is Jackson.
It's not a story of the city.
You wonder if it's just, it fits the meter more than anything else, right?
Yeah, because it didn't fit to go, I'm going to Tupelo.
There is Tupelo Honey.
There's Tupelo Honey, which is not about Tupelo. I think that's just more about Van Morrison doing drugs and kind of screech singing.
Sure. Chattanooga Choo Choo is also a great one.
Pardon me, boy. Is that the Chattanooga Choo Choo? Yes, yes. That is a song actually that has led to the popularity of that song has led to an entire section of that city being very cool, where the quote Chattanooga Choo Choo is. And now it's like Edison bulbs and little bars, and there's a rock venue down there. It's a really cool section of that town based on the ubiquity of that song.
But there are a lot more in the South. There's Amarillo, there's Streets of Laredo.
That's true. There's a lot of Texas. There's a lot of Texas songs that I'm not even
and then there's a New Orleans song that you didn't even really mention.
Which one?
Which is in 1814, we took a little trip along with Colonel Jackson down the mighty Mississippi. We took our guns and little beans. We caught the bloody British in the town of New Orleans. We fired our guns and the British kept it coming.
There wasn't as many as there was a while ago. Fired once more and they began running down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico.
Now that is a song that is revisionist history.
Oh yeah.
Mixed with actual history.
Mixed with one of our worst presidents.
Mixed with one of the worst presidents in history, but it does tell you something that happened in New Orleans. Although you kind of have to doesn't a place have to call it like Narlands or New Orleans?
New Orleans.
Nobody there calls it New Orleans.
Oh, nobody there calls it New Orleans?
That's my understanding.
I know a lot of people that call it Nawlins.
No.
Nawlins.
New Orleans. That's them saying New Orleans very clearly, but there are very few that actually, even in Princess and the Frog, like, we're down in New Orleans, because they have to match it with the evergreens.
Yeah. Boy, he does have some rhymes in that song that aren't the best. And all the men deliver. I'm like, what? Yeah. Okay. I guess you just needed something to rhyme with river. And you had set up, first you talk about the women, now you got to talk about the men. Okay. Like, you whittled it down to your only possible word that kind of shoehorns in there. That said, that song is brilliant. The reprise at the end is brilliant. Like, I had to get some Disney on this list.
I thought of an East Coast song that we didn't mention.
What's that?
There is a rose in... There is a rose in Spanish Harlem.
Oh, yeah.
Come on. I just needed to mention it. I just wanted to throw it out there because It exists.
This is one of those episodes where people are going to be listening to it going, well, what about this one? What about this one? And I hope to you, the listener right now, your brain is just scrolling through a bunch of songs. Nothing would make me happier. Coming out of the South, I like Walking in Memphis. I like Jackson. I like Down in New Orleans. I like Last Train to Clarksville. We haven't talked about that much. It's not really about, they're not in Clarksville. They're going to Clarksville. It's the train to Clarksville. I don't know where they are.
Take the last train to, well, you're in Clarksville. Take the last train to
I'm telling you to take the last train and meet me at the station. And I'll meet you
at the station.
That's right. All right. So it would be in Clarksville.
Yeah.
All right. I still think Walking in Memphis is my favorite one on this list. But it's not about our favorites. It's about what is objectively the best song.
Have you seen my wife, Mr. Jones? Do you know what it's like on the outside? Don't go talking too loud. You'll cause a landslide, Mr. Jones. New York mining disaster, 1941 by the Bee Gees. It's another great one.
Oh, my God.
See, I can find.
Are you still up on the East Coast?
Do you want more New York songs that I just think are better than New York, New York, even though they're not as catchy? Because that's one.
No, we've already determined that New York, New York is not going to win. We've already determined it's Motown Philly coming out of the East Coast.
The only mention more East Coast songs. New York.
Only Living Boy in New York is on my list. But we got to Motown Philly and it was not going to kick it off that hill. Simon and Garfunkel are great. There's a great movie called Only Living Boy in New York. I don't know if there's a Motown Philly movie. There's a Motown the Musical. If there was a Motown Philly the Musical, that'd be amazing.
What about if you want one from the South? Charleston,
made in Carolina. See?
There are a lot of good Southern songs.
Oh my God. All right. Well, let's pick one from the South and then we'll take a quick ad break.
You're the Southerner.
I'm a Southerner.
I mean, you picked Motown Philly, not me. I just wanted to point that because everybody's going to say Philly bias.
No. Look, I'm fully, and they can say that. I will stand by Motown Philly.
Thank you.
Being the best of the East Coast songs.
And I will stand by what Southern song? What do you think it is in the South?
I was wondering what was happening.
I'm pointing.
Oh, I think it's, I think
I'm
it's
holding you. What?
You know what? Because it is specifically the sound of the city as well. Mm-hmm. It is a native son of the city. The song comes back in multiple forms. I'm going Down in New Orleans from, The Princess and the Frog.
All right. Let's throw some Disney in there. And
yeah,
let's
we got to get some Disney in there.
And you know what? While we're doing this break, you're going to hear from some of the other fine shows on the Max Fun Network. You're also maybe going to hear from a sponsor, but I urge you to also pause and listen to another great song with Philadelphia in the title, which is T-Sop, the Sound of Philadelphia, which is real good.
Is that is that a morning zoo radio show?
Oh.
Hey, what's up? It's Cooter and the Bean on T-Sop, the Sound of Philadelphia. We got weather on the ones. Here, we'll be right back.
I'm going to play it for you during the break. We'll be right back. This show is brought to you in part by Trade Coffee. Trade Coffee connects customers with the freshest and best tasting coffee they've ever made at home by partnering with the country's best craft roasters. Trade Coffee's team actually taste tests thousands of coffees. There's no one perfect coffee, but there is a perfect coffee for you. Here's how it works. Trade delivers a bag of freshly roasted coffee as whole beans or ground for however you brew it at home, and they guarantee you'll love your first order or they'll replace it for free. Mark,
yes,
you're deep into Trade Coffee.
I am deep into Trade Coffee. I'm on my third bag of Trade Coffee.
Okay.
This time around, it's Alma. And one of my favorite things about Trade Coffee is finding out the story behind all of the different bags of coffee that come to my apartment, which it is always a delightful moment to tear open the red wrapping that is on it. No, it's not gift wrap, but the red wrapping makes it feel a little like it's gift wrap.
Sure.
I open it up. This time it is Alma, which I do have to say, this is unrelated to the flavor of the coffee, is the most beautiful packaging that I've received on any of them so far.
It makes a difference.
It does.
Not the flavor,
you eat with your
like
eyes.
The presentation of it.
Exactly.
You get it ground, right? You don't do the whole beans and grind it yourself. You have the coffee. You're doing drip.
No, I'm not doing drip. That's what they'll do at Trade that I think is really cool is, there are different grinds of coffee for different ways of drinking it. If you're doing a pour over, it's different than a drip. Then it's Keurig, which is what I use. I use a refillable Keurig. So the good folks at Trade ask you when you start out if you want it ground and how much you want it ground. So they ground it perfectly to the right size for my K-cups. Yeah, and the Alma coffee comes in You read about the family. This time I read all about Letitia and Harry, who are from Honduras and live in Georgia. It is a veteran-owned business, and the coffee I got was Enchanted, which is, you're not a coffee drinker, but if you meet new friends like Harry and Letitia,
Yeah.
this is the kind, it feels like new friend coffee, like sit around the coffee table in the living room and play a board game coffee. It is just delightful. It's like a blanket.
Well, now I wish I drank coffee. And
Right?
if you do, right now, Trade is offering new subscribers a total of $30 off your first order, plus free shipping when you go to drinktrade.com/we got this. That's more than 40 cups of coffee for free. Get started by taking their quiz at drinktrade.com/we got this and let Trade find you a coffee that you'll love, like Alma. That's drinktrade.com/we got this for $30 off. Do it.
And thank you to Trade Coffee for sponsoring the show.
Thank you so much to everyone who participated in this year's Max Fun Drive. If you're a member who wants to purchase additional patches, our annual shop is now live. The proceeds for this year's sale will be going to Trans Lifeline. Anytime is a good time to donate to Trans Lifeline, but this year it feels particularly important. Trans Lifeline is a nonprofit for the trans community by the trans community. We're grateful that with your support, we'll be able to help Trans Lifeline connect trans folks to the support and resources they need to survive and thrive. The sale will run until Friday, May 20th. Folks at the $10 monthly level and above will have access to all of the patches from the drive. We also have a special network patch starring Nutsy that all members can purchase. For more information on Trans Lifeline, visit translifeline.org. And for more information on the patches, head to MaximumFun.org/patch sale.
Hey, this is Alden Ford.
And Mujan Zulfagari.
And we are here with all the other creators of Mission to Zix.
Hello.
Hey.
You're not going to say our names, too?
No, it's a short promo. Yeah.
Sort of speed
Now,
through
with
it.
the end of our 5th and final season just a few weeks away, we want to say thank you to Maximum Fun and to every single one of you who has listened to and supported Mission to Zix.
Thank you. And if you haven't checked it out, well, Mission to Zix is an improvised space opera with blockbuster quality sound design, a score performed by an actual 60-piece orchestra, and hilarious guest comedians on every episode. And as our final episodes air, now is the perfect time to jump on board.
That's Mission to Zix, ZYXX on Maximum Fun.
Those horns are nasty in there.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Mm-hmm. That's, of course, the sound of Philadelphia by Hal Lublin. Taking your requests all morning here on TSOP Radio. TTTSOP. That's right, the sound of Philadelphia. But we're going to leave Philadelphia right now, Hal, and we are going to move to the West.
Hooray for Hollywood.
Well, see, here's the thing. I don't have a ton for the West because California is its own entire category. These are our last two categories. We got the West and we got California. I really only have a couple in the West that don't have to do, because we put Texas in the South. That's a ton of songs. California is its own category. But I think one of our big contenders is in the West. And I think it is a perfect song that exemplifies the city that it represents. I think when you drive into this city, your brain starts playing this song.
Don't say Randy Newman.
Oh, no. That's California. We're not getting there yet.
Oh, thank goodness.
No, but I do love LA, especially when the Dodgers win, and I love hearing that song.
It's Phoenix and I'm sweating in my underwear?
No, is that a real song?
It is. It's the song I sing when I drive through Phoenix. It's Phoenix and I'm sweating in my underwear. From the Baby Powder Blues, my new album.
No, it is not Phoenix, but I do understand the Baby Powder Blues because we've been to Phoenix together, haven't we?
We sure have.
Yes, we have. It is a hot, hot town, but that's not the town out west I'm talking about, Hal. You know what? I'm just going to start with the first lyric of this song. And the second I say this lyric, it is going to evoke not only the city, but every specific sensory input that you get upon arrival in this city. Are you ready?
I just want to say something before you do. And I want to prepare everybody for this who's listening. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I am terrible with lyrics. I have pitched to Ken Plume repeatedly what I thought would be a great bit for his Gonzo quiz show at DragonCon, which is to have me come out and do almost like a reverse Name That Tune where he feeds me the first half of a lyric and the teams have to guess. You know, there are 4 words after this. How many of the words will he get right?
It's basically the old show Street Smarts.
We've piloted it.
Oh my God.
Don't show off your IMDb resume.
Back from the show that I was a contestant.
Yeah, just talking to each other. I'm like, just feed me a lyric. And I'm like, nope, I have no idea. And sometimes
really?
I do know. Sometimes I'm incredibly close to getting it right.
All right. Well, Hal, I think, you know what? I have faith in you. I have faith in you that you're going to get this one because while lyrics might not be your strong suit, something about this song in this city is your strong suit. So if I say to you, Bright Light City, gonna set my soul.
Gonna set my soul on fire. I got a pocket full of money that's ready to burn. So get those stakes up higher.
It sounds like you know exactly the song I'm talking about.
Viva Las Vegas.
I can't think of a song that exemplifies its city more than Viva Las Vegas.
You know what movie I want to watch now?
Leaving Las Vegas?
No. But
Viva Rock Vegas.
Right actor, wrong movie. Honeymoon in Vegas.
Oh, Honeymoon in Vegas is so good with the Elvises. Have you ever seen 3,000 Miles to Graceland?
Speaking We're flying Elvises, Utah chapter. What was that?
There's also a musical. Rob McClure was in it. Of Honeymoon in Vegas.
Honeymoon in Vegas?
Did you ever watch 3,000 Miles to Graceland? It's another a bunch of Elvises in Graceland or in
I'll watch
Vegas.
anything with Kurt Russell, except apparently more than 90 seconds of Bone Tomahawk. I'm sorry I haven't made it through.
What is Bone Tomahawk?
Exactly. Keep going.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's the one that's going to come out of this winning. I do also have Leaving Las Vegas by Sheryl Crow.
Great song.
I've got Albuquerque by Weird Al just because I know we're both nerds. And that song is 20 minutes long at the end of one of his albums. It's a bonkers, almost, I don't know if it's a bonus track or if it's just the last or second to last song.
Just hid.
Yeah, it's just a whole album within there. And then there's a couple of songs about Santa Fe. There is Santa Fe, both from musicals, Santa Fe from Rent, and then Santa Fe from Newsies, which also has New York songs, but there's a specific Santa Fe song in that. But honestly, I don't know that. I think Viva Las Vegas might be, if I'm a fight promoter taking one champ into the final fight, I might have to say Viva Las Vegas.
This is before we even get to California?
This is before we even get to California.
So you don't want to talk about any songs that take place in California?
No. We'll talk about them. There's a lot of great California songs.
All right. Ken has put here.
Ken's asking.
They say, Hal, give us the next line. JoJo was a man who thought he was a loner, but he knew it couldn't last. JoJo made his way from Tucson, Arizona for some California grass. Is that right? Ken,
close.
Is that right?
Left his home.
Haha, see? I was close.
Yeah, you were real close.
JoJo left his home in Tucson, Arizona for some California grass. See? If you had said it's this many, I got it wrong. I was close.
You were very close.
I got it wrong. I told you I do not know song lyrics, and that is the Beatles, my favorite group.
You know what? Let's leave our home in Tucson, Arizona for some California grass right now. And let's talk about some California songs.
California songs, they're undeniable.
Now I did keep this list specific to songs with cities.
Correct.
There are a lot of songs that have California in the title, but I did keep this specifically to songs with California cities in their names. Do you have any that jump to mind offhand of your favorites? Because I got a bunch I can rattle off, but I'm curious if there's any that come right to your head.
Yeah, there are some. Actually, the song that comes to mind is not the one that will win. It's Streets of Bakersfield, which is an interesting story for a song because it is either the resurrection of Buck Owens' career on the wings of Dwight Yoakam, who was a rising star in country at the time, or it's the story of Buck Owens screwing over another artist and taking his publishing. Now, both can be true. And that's the beauty of Buck Owens. And if you listen to the Buck Owens and Don Rich episodes of Cocaine and Rhinestones, you'll be delighted to hear about
listen to that show. I hear that story's great.
That is that podcast is what made me fall in love with Buck Owens as an artist. He is outstanding, and it's great to see him get that sort of last big push on the charts of his career, and long after Don Rich tragically passed away.
Well, this song also is, Buck Owens famously, and Waylon Jennings and Dwight Yoakam, they're famous for the Bakersfield sound, like that very specific type of outlaw country music. And for there to be a song with Bakersfield in the title that is the Bakersfield sound, that's kind of cool.
He is one of the pioneers of the Bakersfield sound, maybe the best personification of it, and brought that sound to Nashville. And basically was an outsider for the majority of his career there and chose to do it his own way and had an incredible string of number one hits.
Yeah.
This is one of them, which is very good. I also love a song that a lot of people think is by the Beach Boys, but is actually by Jan and Dean, which is the little old lady from Pasadena.
I love
Go
that
Granny,
song.
Go Granny, Go Granny.
Go Granny, go Granny, go. Everybody says that there's nobody meaner than the little old lady from Pasadena.
Yes.
Bit of a slant rhyme. Bit of an Emily Dickinson in that one. That's all right. We'll allow it.
Way down into New Orleans, we're going to rhyme this with the evergreens.
And all the men deliver. We also have, we've got some neighborhood, or some LA centric songs. We have some songs about LA. Got Brand Van's, Drinking in LA, which is one of my favorites because that song came out right around when I was moving to LA. LA. There's more lyrics than that, but that's the best part. There's, of course, Randy Newman's ubiquitous I Love L.A., but we also have Weezer's Beverly Hills. Great song. Miley Cyrus's Malibu, another great song. Big fan of that. I love all these L.A. neighborhood songs. And, of course, Santa Monica. Do you know the song Santa Monica?
I do know the song by Weezer.
It's not Weezer. It's somebody else. It's
Everclear?
It's Everclear. Yes. Thank you. For those who don't know, it has nothing to do, I don't think, with the town of Santa Monica.
Song.
It's the I am still living with your yeah.
I think it's I'm still dreaming of your ghosts.
Lonely and dreaming of the West Coast. My favorite thing about that song, back in the day when we were touring with National Lampoon Lemmings, Adam Devine wrote an entire sketch where he can't get through. He's trying to get through that song and cannot get through that song. And that sketch only exists because the only thing that guy can play on the guitar is those opening licks of Santa Monica. The boom, 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 boom. It's the only thing he knows how to play on a guitar. And he wrote a whole sketch about not getting past that point in the song.
Well, I hope he's gotten better by now, for goodness sakes.
He's been doing other things. He's got other stuff going on.
Now he has someone who plays the guitar for him, but actually works his hands while he's holding a guitar. That's what happens when you succeed. He went from being the guy who went, all right, everybody, welcome to the world famous improv, and getting people into the room to.
That's right. Did he used to do that job?
Yeah. I
didn't know he had that. That's cool.
That was one of my earliest memories of Adam, is him. That was his job, was he did that. And now he's headlined there.
Oh yeah.
There's another great LA neighborhood song.
What's that?
By one of my favorite groups.
Who's that?
It starts.
How does it start?
Q-Tip, where were you going? I left my wallet in El Segundo. Got
Is this Tribe?
Got to get it. Yes, A Tribe Called Quest.
I don't know this song.
The best Tribe. Oh, The Tribe Called Quest is amazing. Their last album, before Phife Dawg passed away, is so good. It's so good. And this one
I know very little about
Instinctive Travels and The Paths of Rhythm from 1990. So they're on the rise there. Oh, they're so good. Their last album, by the way, I just want to throw out, We Got It From Here is the name of it.
Is the last album they did?
The very last album they did. And they actually were on right after Trump got elected. They were the musical guests along with Chappelle, who was hosting. But they were the musical guests. They've got this really radical album they put out. Its full title is We Got It From Here. Thank you for your service. And they had Busta Rhymes filling in for Phife Dawg, which was amazing.
That's pretty great.
So good.
Look, I love me some El Segundo. That's right by where you are currently. I am talking to you. You are right next to El Segundo.
I'm near El Segundo. My wallet, I know where it is
That's
in my
fair.
pocket though.
I generally don't know where my wallet is, but I know where I am. I am in North Hollywood, and there are a couple of Hollywood songs on this, but is Hollywood a concept? We've had this discussion before on this show.
It has a mayor.
It does have a mayor. But I think because the songs I have are Hollywood Nights. Those Hollywood Nights. I would argue that's more about the town. Hooray for Hollywood is more about the concept of Hollywood and less about the town itself.
Yeah.
Both very good songs. I don't think of them as being city-centric songs, though. Hollywood Nights, maybe.
It's hard for me to think of Hollywood without thinking of Hooray for Hollywood. If I were picking a Hollywood song, it would be Hooray.
It'd be Hooray for Hollywood.
Because it not only is about the city, but it is about the general vibe of the city as well. I know it doesn't have the same, like, if you go to Sunset, then Gower is there. Yeah. That's north-south, and Sunset goes east and west. Hollywood Boulevard's when north you want of that, but they dovetail over by La Brea, or not La Brea, further to the, after La Brea.
Sunset and
Hollywood, they meet over by Crescent Heights, but you can also go north over the hill and get to the Valley Ventura Boulevard. And the valley. Further north, and then you're out into the desert. That's not even the song. I wasn't even doing this. I was doing California, Here We Come.
Yeah, you're doing California, Here We Come.
Hooray for Hollywood. They're gonna build a mall in Hollywood. They're gonna put all of the Oscar winners on the sidewalk. It's gonna smell bad and Sweaty Superman will be there.
I love Sweaty Superman.
Oh, Sweaty Superman.
I know.
Did he pass away?
And then there's Fanny Pack Batman.
Fanny Pack Batman is there.
I don't know. He wasn't a young guy when I got to LA 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He did pass away.
Did he? That's sad. He's the one from the movie about.
Correct. About those.
What was the name of that movie? Do you remember?
I don't remember the name of it. But I can.
Really good. And these guys are so charming and just sweet, sweet people in this movie. Really paints a beautiful, lovely portrait of them.
I took a picture with the Darth Vader who was on duty one day.
On duty. Like there always has to be a Darth.
He did the classic Darth Vader pose, which is, you ball your hands up and then you put them on your hips. So you're taking the stance of evil authority.
I know what Darth Vader
And when you open, here's the thing. If you've been sweating in a Darth Vader suit and the deodorant's long gone and you go into that pose, you are opening the bay doors for all of that stench to come out. And then I got to stand next to you. And then
you can choke someone on the other side of a computer screen. That's how he did it.
Yeah. Here's however many dollars for letting me bask in your stink and try not to tear up while I have my picture taken with a Sony digital camera because it was the early to mid 2000s.
I don't want to knock the people who are out there just trying to make a living, taking pictures with folks. I do have to say though, I was a little upset once in New York in Times Square. I saw Animal from the Muppets. I was so excited. I was like, Animal. Oh my God, I'm your biggest fan. Can I take a picture with you? And I took a picture with him, paid the guy. And then the person dressed as Animal lifted his mask up and said, hey, what's my guy's name again?
What's my guy's name again?
I was like, what do you mean? What's my guy's name again? Like, I think he just works for a company, goes to a warehouse and puts on a costume. I was like, you got to show some respect to Animal, man. Eat drums. No, Animal, beat drums.
Beat drums. Have you ever seen the Elmo's fight? I've seen Elmo's fist fight.
I've never seen Elmo's fist fight. No.
There's so many of them that you would think they would get along, but I think they're also very territorial.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. There's a couple of very strange, very fun ones. I always see Mickey and Minnie. And Mickey and Minnie are always on break. I've never seen Mickey and Minnie actually working. I guess they're the biggest stars there of all the cartoon characters. They're Mickey and Minnie. So they could just be off on the side. They are never on. They're always taking a break. The other one that is jarring is, and I think the city has actually moved them from Times Square. And there are, of course, freedom of speech issues involved in this that are above the purview of this show. But for a while, there were like straight up topless Vegas showgirls out there, like taking pictures with, 12-year-old kid who's like, hey, I want to take a picture with these dames. I don't know if he says dames because he's a kid in current America, but that was always a jarring thing to see. You're out there, you're like, hey, look, it's SpongeBob SquarePants and the cast of Showgirls. Like it was a weird choice.
The cast of Showgirls. That's
sure. Which one of you's the Gina Gershon? That's who I want to take a picture with. Pretend you're pushing me down these stairs. Sorry. For all those out there who would love a good Showgirls reference.
Gosh. The number one, by the way, the number one song on this ranker list is
LA
a
Woman.
song about Los Angeles. It's LA Woman by The Doors.
But this ranker list is clearly made by old dudes with ponytails because Lodi is the number 2 song on this list, which we did not mention. Lodi also in LA. Let me get through a few more of these LA songs.
Go ahead.
Or California songs specifically. There's only a couple more, and that's going up north. We've got Do You Know the Way to San Jose. A lot of these songs are about directions. And then, of course, I Left My Heart in San Francisco and Forrest Gump, If You're Going to San Francisco.
That's not the name of the song.
Parentheses, be sure to wear flowers in your hair.
It's called If You're Going to San Francisco.
No, it's called Forrest Gump,
Stop it.
I'm pretty sure. What do you think's the best California song?
I think, I've been to San Francisco. This is not to name drop, but I was talking to John Ross Bowie yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And we were both fondly remembering separately, like we had both thought of it and brought it up. A time when we were doing Thrilling. I think it was in 2020. It was right before the pandemic. And we were in North Beach doing that show. And he and I during a break, took a walk. He needed to get something. I needed to get something. Who knows? We took a walk. And it was such a pleasant experience. And I think that If You're Going to San Francisco captures a very specific summer of love, Haight-Ashbury time of San Francisco. When I hear I Left My Heart in San Francisco, I think about like at night, the streets lit up perfectly, just a very romantic idea of the city. I think the song makes me think of the best version of San Francisco that there could possibly be.
Yeah.
And I think that is a really good indicator of a city song. It gives you an idealized picture in your mind of what that city is and what it can be. And I think that's something that no other song we have brought up has.
Yeah. The only other song I can think of that it's a song where by the end of the song, it makes me want to go to that city. Mm-hmm. The only other one I can think of doesn't make this list on a technicality because the name of the song does not say New York in it. It's called Empire State of Mind.
Sure.
That's another one of those songs that's sort of
that dreams are made of.
Yeah. It feels like a very idealized version of a city. But yeah, I Left My Heart in San Francisco it's a beautiful love letter to the city. I got no problem with I Left My Heart in San Francisco, even though as a true blue Dodger fan, I would love for it to be, I love LA. We love it. Which is a great song with a call and response in the middle.
Yeah.
It's a great city song. Now, we've got a good contender from each of these different places. I'm going to say this now. I think the champ that I wanted to bring into the finals, I think that champ is still standing. I don't know if anybody can knock him down.
You want to tell me who that is?
That is, for me, for my money, the song it's a song that exemplifies the city. When I think of the city, I think of the song. Mm-hmm. Even the jangly drum beat underneath the song is emblematic of the slot machines making their noise in that city. And that is Elvis's Viva Las Vegas.
I'll tell you what, I think that's a really great finalist. And it occurs to me, I was going to sit here and say, what's great about I Left My Heart in San Francisco, which is the one I would bring, is the fact that it is emblematic of the city. It's forever tied to the city and tied to the great Tony Bennett, although other people have performed it.
But his version's the classic.
It is his song. But it does present that idealized version of the city. But I also think that in its own way, Las Vegas is about glitz and glamour. And that is the idealized version of Las Vegas too. It sells you on the glitz, on the lights. It gets you excited. It's exactly the feeling you should have when you enter Las Vegas every time. And then leaving Las Vegas is the perfect song for when you are leaving Las Vegas every time because it sounds incredibly depressing.
And the only thing you own is a guitar. It's the only thing you have left is your guitar and your thumb that you're hitchhiking with.
My two favorite flights in the world are the flight to Las Vegas and the flight back home from Las Vegas.
My favorite drive in the world is the drive to Las Vegas. My least favorite drive in the world is the drive home from Las Vegas.
Here's what's great about those flights. It is basically like a half-hour flight, maybe 4
Yeah, it's very easy. Straight out of Burbank.
The flight there, even out of LAX, the flight there especially Southwest, usually everybody's flying Southwest, is having a good time. The flight attendants they're telling jokes. They're getting you excited. There's this feeling of hope. If you're flying in at night, you get to see the lights of the strip, and it's just possibility. It's very seductive. And then you get there, and if you gamble, you will most likely lose. And when you get on that plane, even if you've won, you'll be on a plane full of losers who could not be sadder, could not be more silent. I've been among those losers, not losers in life, but losers at the games, at the tables, as it were. And that is one of the saddest flights and most hilarious flights you can get on. Just
the returning flight.
Yeah, you might see the same people if you only go for a weekend. You might have the same people on that outgoing flight as you do on the incoming flight. And that is a gift in and of itself.
Have you ever actually seen that where you see the same people on the Friday flight as the Sunday flight? Because it's usually the Friday evening flight and the Sunday afternoon flight if you're doing Vegas.
You know, everyone who's heading there is like real excited, like Jimmy Con energy, and then they come back, it's just a bunch of John Carroll Lynches sitting
Jimmy
Con.
Oh my God.
You know? Like that look. And I love John Carroll Lynch. He's great. But there is like a look that he feels like a sad, been beaten down. It's like, this is the welcome to Willy Loman Airlines. This is made up of a bunch of people who thought they'd have it all.
You don't understand. Willie needs this.
But instead they're leaving with nothing. And what is the song that perpetuates that hope and joy?
Bright Light City, gonna set my soul.
Yes, people of the world. It's Elvis Presley, the consummate Vegas performer, performing the consummate Vegas song. That is the greatest song with a U.S. city in the title. And that is Viva Las Vegas, asked and answered.
That was fun.
Cha-ching, Mark. Cha-ching.
Cha-ching. When are we going back to Vegas, buddy? Thank you, Kristen Kelly.
I'm good for now. Thank you for that suggestion, Kristen Kelly.
We don't have to go to a buffet.
No, we're closing the book and cashing out on this one.
Well, this topic is closed, but there are many more topics to discuss. So please reach out to us on Twitter at We Got This Tweets, or
you can email us at wegotThisPodcast@gmail.com, or go to our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/We Got This Podcast. Talk about all the songs you love that we mentioned, and we'll talk about the ones we missed. We're happy to hear from you either way. Thank you to producer Ken Plume, the host of a very fine show of his own called A Bit of a Chat with Ken Plume. Wonderful conversations, wonderful interviews.
We've both been on the show and had an absolute blast doing it.
Yes, some make you feel like you're in the room with your friends. Some of them are just really well done interviews where you learn a lot of great information. But listen to those. Also, I want to shout out researcher Kate McManus, who did not have to lift a finger this episode. Sometimes we like to give her a break. I don't even know if she wants those breaks or not. Thank you to graphic designer Eric Hellman and QA engineer Jen Alba.
And thanks, of course, to our musicians, Jonathan Dinerstein and Mike Furman, for our score and theme song, respectively. And thanks to you, the people of the world, for hopping in this particular vehicle, driving around the country, listening to music with us, or in the case of Hal, hopping on that plane to Las Vegas. And thanks for letting us have an opportunity to relive some songs that we've loved. Clearly, we have some faves in here that we haven't heard in a while that we got excited about singing. Thanks for letting us sing them to you. Just all in all, we are here because of you. I know Max Fun Drive just ended, and we said this a lot during the drive, but I would just like to reiterate, you are the reason we do this show. The membership is the reason we are able to do this show, and we wouldn't be doing it without you. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Very quickly, if you enjoy audio drama and you're listening to Squirrel Girl Unbeatable Radio Show, that is me as MODOK.
Yeah.
Another character coming up. Please give it a listen. It's on SiriusXM. It's wherever you get your podcasts. I'm incredibly proud of it. And I haven't really talked about it a lot on here. We don't really promote anything outside of this show on this show, but I'm so proud of that one. And it is a dream come true. And so I just wanted to encourage you to listen to it if you're not doing so already. Squirrel Girl Unbeatable Radio Show.
I'm just glad that we know what it is now, because for months it was, Hal, what is this thing you can't tell us about? I can't tell you about it.
That's right.
What is this thing I can't tell you about it. So to finally be able to find out that you are one of the great villains of all time.
Yeah.
Come on. It's really fun. That's very cool. But getting back to what I was saying, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. For Hal Lublin, I'm Mark Gagliardi.
For Mark Gagliardi, I'm Hal Lublin, and don't worry, everybody.
We got this.
We got this.
Maximum MaximumFun.org.
Comedy and culture.
Artist owned.
Audience supported.